think it's good for kids to see all of these sexualized things, like people kissing each other, girls kissing each other, guys in thongs, girls with their ass out, yourself?
Yes, because if you don't show them this now, then they harbor who they are as they get older. They feel like they're not included in society.
So you think sexualized activity should begin with them at a young age?
Yes, I mean, I was watching at like 8 years old.
And you think that's good?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a mad thing to say, though. Like, I'm not going to pretend like kids don't get exposed to things they shouldn't, but it's definitely not something you should advocate for.
No, absolutely not. I don't get the logic behind it, or why in your right mind you would think that that is normal.
Yeah, watching explicit content like that does have a psychological effect on children. I stumbled upon it when I was young as well. I wish that I didn't, but I did. But I would never tell another kid, yeah, you should watch it. It's just a stupid thing to say. That there's a time and place for people to start exploring themselves, but it's not when they're children. It's never when they're children. You don't show kids that sort of content, man.
No, absolutely not.
Should the LGBT become more inclusive to bestiality?
That's a good question. I don't know. Bestiality specifically, not sure, how that should kind of be grasped. Right. Sex with animals isn't really my thing, but
if someone was, would you be inclusive though?
I'm not here to judge anybody.
Do you see what I mean? In the pursuit of being inclusive, people have lost their minds.
Yeah.
I can't even formulate what I want to say right now. I'll get removed from every social media platform. That is awful. You realize that animals can't consent. You know that, right?
Regardless of that, the whole idea of even trying to or wanting to do that is insane in itself.
Of course. But I mean, the bottom line here, for people that don't understand, should be consent, right? We understand that human beings should not be having intercourse with animals. Everyone that is sane of mind understands that this is not an inclusivity argument. This is now a sanity argument. If you can't understand that, my question to you is, do you understand what consent is? If you agree that something can't consent to something, so you shouldn't do it, then by default, even if you have wacky ideas, you shouldn't want a human being to have intercourse with an animal. But because you're so either afraid of being cancelled, or you're so on this woke train where everything's inclusive, explore all ideas, nothing's off the table, even having sex with an animal is not off the cards for you.
Yeah. I think for him personally, you could see he found it weird. He didn't like it. He seemed like he was against the idea. But because he's trying to do this whole inclusivity thing himself, he feels as though he cannot judge it or go against it.
There's no line. There is no line that you can cross now where people are not like, well, let them do what they want.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Do you mean bestiality as in sex with animals?
Is it relationships with animals? Sex, yeah, I guess so.
That, of my personal opinion, that's a life choice, and I really don't have a specific opinion on that. Everyone's free to live their lives.
Would you be inclusive of someone that was?
I would accept them, yes.
All right, last question. Should the LGBT be inclusive of bestiality?
I don't even know what that is.
Sex with animals.
I mean, if that's what you want, then that's what you want.
You would accept that?
Yeah.
Imagine these people being in charge of our countries and stuff. Like, the world would just absolutely go to shits, because as a human, regardless of what your beliefs are and stuff, you shouldn't be condoning that sort of
behavior,
mindset, or anything. Like, from time someone says you sex with an animal, your brain should automatically be like, whoa, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know how we got to this point in society where somebody would look into the camera. My only explanation for this is that those are paid actors, and they're doing it to...
they're genuinely real.
No, I lean in the camp of it being real, but the only way that I can really... I don't know how someone could get to that conclusion without being absolutely insane.
Yeah, I just think these people need to realise that if you're against bestiality, which you should be, no one is going to judge you or think that you shouldn't be included in anything from what you're trying to preach. Do you know what I mean?
They're so afraid of being cancelled or not extending the olive branch because they have been included in something that nothing is off the table. Having intercourse with animals or showing adult, the key word here is adult.
Yeah.
Adult content to children. There's a reason why it says 18 plus. They didn't slap that sticker on there for the fun of it. It's to protect children from seeing things that they don't understand and could be harmful to them. It's also to protect them from predators. And animals, whilst we might shoot and eat them, we do not have relationships with them like that. They are pets or they are food. There is no in between, or they live out in the wild. They're not partners, okay, to take the bed to bed with you. The fact that you, the people in that video, would know somebody doing this and just shrug your shoulders at it and do whatever you want. You are sick and demented.
You can die from this shit. You're basically encouraging people to go kill themselves.
Yeah, you can die from doing that. You can 100% die from having intercourse with an animal. You can contract all sorts of... I mean, do we really need a part 2 of a pandemic? Do we really need that?
That's what I'm saying. Just think when people get bitten by an animal.
Wasn't Ebola? Didn't they say Ebola came about because somebody was messing around with a monkey?
I don't know.
That's what the story was. I don't know if it's true. I mean, we've already seen what happens when you mess with certain animals, what things can break out. Now, granted, I don't know if that is the full story, but I do know that animals carry all sorts of diseases, especially ones that live in caves or live up in trees or somewhere in the Amazon. Regardless, even if they didn't carry diseases, you should not be touching animals like that. You're not the same species. You're a human being.
It's just weird.
We do enough weird stuff within our own species. We do not need to be branching out. All the people in that video should be cancelled. Every single one of them. Actually, if we lock them off, they're just going to go into some dark corner of the internet and start expressing their ideas. So maybe it's better to just keep them on there and observe them so we can see what they're doing. Maybe one of them will get brazen enough to post that they're in a relationship with an animal one day.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it in this day and age, Michael,
I really
to be
wouldn't.
honest with you.
I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't be surprised either. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years from now, Instagram was like, you know, when they do the 1 year anniversary collections and it's this woman standing there with a rhinoceros or some shit. I'm
scared to tell my friends that I'm in a relationship with my dog. They might think I'm weird.
Yeah. We're heading there.
We're
actually heading there.
And
it's sad to it's just sad to know that we've come. When I say come this far, I don't mean it in a good way. I mean it's sad to see that we have completely lost touch with reality.
The world has lost its mind.
Yeah, and I think it's even more sad that the inmates are basically running the asylum. So people with common sense can't even really speak up anymore, or they lose their jobs.
Yeah, it's all us normal people that are suffering.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody in the LGBT community should be condoning bestiality. I will say that I doubt most of them will. I think you've probably got a couple of psychos in there doing some crazy shit. 100%. That happens in all movements. In all communities, you always get some bad apples. Don't get me wrong. I'm not painting the entire community with the same brush because I can't imagine most people would be okay with you sleeping with an animal. But for those super inclusive types out there that are, please get some help. Just find the closest asylum and lock yourself up in there. Stay away from people's dogs and cats and rethink what's going through your mind. Do you have anything you want to add to it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely horrifying. I think that's scarier than the ghost video we did.